Welcome to Bilayer Teaching. If you people still not subscribe the channel for the first time, subscribe the channel and click the bell icon for more updates.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today my topic is the plasma membrane. The first of all, if you people not subscribe the channel, so the first of all subscribe the channel and click the bell icon that you people never miss my new update. So the first of all, I'm going to the outline of my lecture. My lecture is about the plasma membrane, and in my lecture I will discuss the plasma membrane. So first of all, I'm going to discuss the outline of my lecture. The outline of my lecture, it is the introduction of the plasma membrane. We will introduce the plasma membrane, and the second one, it is the history, mean that the history and the discovery of the plasma membrane also we are going to discuss in this video. The third one, it is the composition of the plasma membrane, mean that from which thing the plasma membrane is composed. So we will also discuss this thing in the video. And the fourth one, it is the transport mechanism, mean that what the type of transport present in the plasma membrane also we are going to study in this video. The last one, it is the function of the plasma membrane, also we are going to study in this video. In the introduction of the plasma membranes, this is a few details in a plasma membrane, the introduction of plasma membrane. So the plasma membrane, it is also known as a cell membrane, meaning that the plasma membrane also called cell membrane, or the cytoplasmic membrane also calls to the plasma membrane. Historically, it is referred to the plasmalemma. The plasmalemma, it is historically plasma membrane. The definition of plasma membrane: the plasma membrane is the biological membrane that separate the interior of the cells from the outside environment, which protect the cells from the environment, mean that the plasma membrane, it is the outermost in animal and the secondmost in plants. So the animal cells, it is protected by the plasma membrane, mean that the plasma membrane, it is the outside present in animal cells which protect the which protect the cells and organs from the outer environment, and also they are a selective permeable membrane that allow some materials to the cell and allow outer some materials. So this is the introduction of the plasma membrane. Now we are going to the history of the plasma membrane. So this is a little history of the plasma membrane. A few people know that the cells were discovered in 1664 by the Hook, and he says that the cells have origin structure that is called the cell wall. The cell wall which protect the cells from a lot of things, for example, from the mechanical entry and chemical entry, and also from the surface tension. So this is the theory which is going, cells theory which is going on for 150 years. After 150 years, in 1960, the cell 1899, the cells theory were updated, and that says that the plasma membrane also present with the cell membrane. The plasma membrane which is present with the cell wall. In 1895, the Ernest Orton proposed that the cells membrane were made of the lipid. He says that the cells membrane made from the lipid. In 1925, the Goiter and Crandall proposed that the lipid bilayer hypothesis. He says that there is the lipid double layer present in the plasma membrane, mean that the plasma membrane is the double layer of the lipid. After this, in 1930, the Dawson's and the journal agreement developed a model, and this model on surface tension, mean that this model on the basis of surface tension, this model were following for 30 years. After the 30 years following, in 1972, the Singer and Nicholson gave a model, and it is an acceptable model and still going on a model, and there he says this model is known as the plasmatic model. In a plasmatic model, they study this plasma membrane under the microscopic study, and they said that the plasma membrane is like the lipid sea in which the protein are floating. Mean that the lipid, the membrane are as like the sea of lipid in which the protein are floating. We are going to talk about the plasmatic model, means that those models which represented by the Singer and Nichols in 1972. This model describes these things, mean that this is the blood mosaic model that now I am going to discuss it. In a blood mosaic model, they discuss the lipid bilayer and also the proteins, chain protein and protein channels in this. The protein which is present in the plasma membrane, so it's not as like the sheet that they covered all the lipid bilayer. This is the lipid bilayer. Lipid bilayer. This is the lipid bilayer. It's not as like that all lipid bilayer is covered by the protein, but the protein are embedded in the lipid bilayer. Those proteins which are embedded in the lipid bilayer, it's called intrinsic protein, and those lipid which is present outside the are the partially embedded outside the lipid bilayer is called extrinsic protein. The first one, it is the intrinsic protein which present inside and embedded in the lipid bilayer, and the second one, it is the extrinsic protein. The extrinsic protein. Extrinsic, these are the two types of the protein. The protein which present which combine with the which combine with the glucose, and they form the glycoprotein, and the carbohydrate is present in the plasma membrane which combine with the lipid, it forms glycolipid. This glycolipid and glycoprotein act as a permease. Permease means that it acts as the permease. They regulate the stimulus, means that they accept the stimulus from the neuron impulses, from the food materials, and also from the antibodies. They receive the stimulus and they give according to its the cell response to this stimulus. And now we are going to talk about the extrinsic protein. The extrinsic protein which present in the embedded into the lipid bilayer. The lipid bilayer, there is two types of protein. The first one is alpha helix and globular protein. The alpha helix and globular protein, they are integral protein. This integral protein acts and regulate the osmosis, axial transport, and also the diffusion in the cells. This is the lipid. This is the phospholipid molecule. In a phospholipid molecule, the cholesterol also embedded in it. The cholesterol also present in it. And there is another type of proteins present in it, and this is the surface protein which attached to the blood skeleton. In a cytoplasm, they attach to it. So this is the blood mosaic model. And now we are going to the composition of the plasma membrane. Now we are going to the composition, means that the chemically composition of the plasma membrane. So the chemically compositions, there are a lot of things present in a plasma membrane, but notably they are composed of the four things. The first thing, it is the lipid bilayer, means that the phospholipid. Phospholipid or lipid bilayer. Bilayer is also present in it. The second one, it is the protein present in it. And the third one, it is the carbohydrates. And the fourth one, it is the cholesterol present in it. This is the four things which are notably present in the composition of the plasma membrane. Now we are going to discuss this thing in a detail. We are going to talk about the cell composition of the plasma membrane. Means that the chemical composition of the plasma membrane, it's not constant. In some cells, it's not constant. It's the difference between the cells development and cells division, mostly in the amount of the cholesterol which is present in the amount of lipid odds which is present in the neural cells of the human is not constant. But we are going to talk about this thing which is a little constant. The lipid which is present in a plasma membrane. There are three types of lipid present in a plasma membrane. The first type it is the phospholipid present in it, the glycolipid present, and also the sterols present in it, and depend upon the type of the cells. The type of the cells, in some cells there is more lipid present in it, and in some cells less present, but mostly the 50% of the plasma membrane made of the lipid, means that the lipid are 50% in the plasma membrane. In the human RBC, in a human RBC, 30% are lipid present in it. The lipid, the eukaryotic cells have protein and lipid in a way. It means that the half are protein and the half of lipid present in the eukaryotic cells. Now we are going to talk about the protein in a plasma membrane. So the protein present in a plasma membrane in a large amount, present in a large amount, typically it is present in a 50%. Present 50%. And there are three types of protein present in it. Proteins present. The first one it is the peripheral protein, and the second one it is the integral protein, and the third one it is the lipid arginide protein, lipid anchored protein. We are going to the transport mechanism, mean that what the type of transport present in the plasma membrane and how it occurs. So actually we are going to discuss in a little detail in this video. So there are the four types of transport present in the plasma membrane. The first one it is the osmosis, osmosis and diffusion. The second one it is the transmembrane protein channels, and the third one it is the endocytosis. And the fourth one it is the exocytosis. This is the fourth type of transport mechanism in a plasma membrane. Now will be going to discuss this thing in a detail. First talk about the active osmosis and diffusion. So the active osmosis and diffusion occur when the small molecules like carbon dioxide and the CO2 is enter from the high concentration to the lower concentration, and there is no need of energy. So it is the active diffusion, means that the active osmosis is without energy comes to the plasma membrane and they cross the plasma membrane. So this is the active osmosis and the transporting mechanism. So we studied in a previous topic that there is a protein channel present in the plasma membrane. This protein channel is a transmembrane channel. This allowed the membrane the transport of the materials both sides by the passively osmosis or passive diffusion. There is the need of energy, and this comes the ions and also the glucose. When the cells need the glucose, so they come the glucose inside, and they when not need, so they also they outside the waste material, mean that those waste materials that forms in the cells activity, they comes out by the membrane protein channels. And there is another term called endocytosis. The endocytosis, there is two terms. Others. The first term is a phagocytosis, and the second one is a pinocytosis. Pinocytosis and the phagocytosis. These two terms come in the endocytosis. The phagocytosis, that the plasma membranes envelop, mean that the plasma membrane envelop the things by the entering to the plasma membrane. So this is the phagocytosis, and the pinocytosis is the drinking of the things by the plasma membrane. This is the phenotypes, and the eating of the things by the plasma membrane is called phagocytosis. Means that the things enveloped by the plasma membrane is called endocytosis. The exocytosis is also another term comes. The exocytosis, those things which is formed by the waste materials in the cells, and they excrete by the plasma membrane. This term is known as the exocytosis. This is formed the vesicles in the plasma membrane, or by vesicles these waste materials go out from the cells. To the functions of the plasma membrane. So there is a lot of function, but I write a few function of the plasma membrane in below. The function of the plasma membrane is obtain the nutrient. Means that if the nutrients need to the cells, so it comes by the diffusion, by the passive diffusion, by the trans mechanism, and by the endocytosis, by the exocytosis that we also already studied in previous topics. So this obtain the nutrients from the environment, from the extracellular spaces. They take the nutrients, and also those material which is found in the metabolic process, and also excrete this out of the cells. So this is also the best functions and the core function of the plasma membrane. Also the plasma membrane secrete useful substances. For example, they secrete the hormones and enzymes they secrete, and also to generate the ionic gradients. The plasma membrane also generate the ionic gradient. This gradient, which is useful for the enzymatic activity, and also useful for the nervous activity. And also they maintain the suitable pH and ionic concentration in the cells. Mean the plasma membrane, they maintain the pH and ionic concentration, which is necessary for the enzymatic activity. The enzyme act on a certain pH. They have a suitable pH. If the cells have not a suitable pH, so the enzyme not a proper work. So that's why the plasma membrane act is a pH maintaining factor. So this is a little lecture about the plasma membrane. If you people get something from my lecture, so first you people need to subscribe my channel, and for more video click the bell icon that you people never miss my new video. Thanks for watching.